Folks, it's been a while, but we are back in action with another Oat Milk and Memories. And I got a pretty good one today. I was just thinking about, and this is something I tell people about quite often, but this is one of my favorite college memories. Now, in college, I didn't really party, partially because I'm not that much of a partier. I drink, but I don't really drink too often, and I prefer hanging out in like smaller groups or whatever. But in college, we had honestly the shenanigans me and mainly my friends and the other guys on Clausen got up to stone cold sober for the most part. Where like if I just told you them, you would think that we were completely drunk or completely stoned, but that's not the case. Southern Iowa, a lot of times we'd be hanging out. One of the reasons I didn't party also was junior and senior year as part of residence life. I was the house president and the president of all the house presidents, and being the ones who have to enforce the laws on a dry campus, like you would get fired if you really were like drinking or whatever. And even like it's a small town in southern Iowa, so I couldn't like go out, and I didn't want to because I was hanging out with my buds and having a good time. But anyway, this story, there's this thing we would do called sleep dep, which was basically start on a Friday afternoon and so you could stay up the longest. And so some guys would really go for it and like make it till Sunday, but most of us would just have a fun time hanging out and having fun with it on Friday night, and usually stay up till like 7 or 8 in the morning and then go to sleep and just ruin the rest of your weekend. But those times were always super fun. Mostly we would stay up and hang out in our lounge, or we'd go to Resh in the computer lab and just kind of make a base and do silly stuff. I think we went on Omegle one time, which was fun, and yeah, lots of shenanigans were had. But one of my favorite memories from a sleep dep, I don't even remember what year this was, maybe in my sophomore year, freshman or sophomore year, but um we were like a group of us, like 6 or 7. I don't even remember who exactly all was there. But it was a nice core group. And anyway, we were walking back through campus and we go through the main kind of like lounge building, the MSC for you Graceland heads. And when you walk through there at night, like it's always open, but the main room, which has like a lot of tables and like pinball and ping pong and stuff, usually that's locked. But we were just walking back to the dorms. This must have been like 5 or 6 in the morning. Um, and the door is unlocked. So of course, we're gonna open the door and just like hang out in there. And so mainly we're just kind of like poking around and like, oh, this is so wild. Like we're not supposed to be here. This is kind of fun. Um, and suddenly there's like those plastic tables, like the big long ones you can get from Costco. And there's like a lot of those in that room, and those drawers were open. And so we were kind of just like, oh, we got to do something cool in here. We got access. Like this is pretty scandalous right now. But we pulled out those tables, and I remembered when I was a kid, Mama would always, we had some of those tables, and we figured out a way, if you only put one of the legs up and the other legs down, it makes a perfect slide. Like that plasticky stuff is perfectly slidable. And so as a kid, it'd be just super fun to go down the slide. And so I showed the guys that, and no one had ever done that before. And it was kind of this novel, fun idea, um, which basically ballooned into realizing, oh, we could make the slide bigger. Because here's the layout. You have one of the slides, legs down, like 45, not 45-degree angle, like 25-degree angle maybe, standing there, but it's the same height as a table fully legs up. And so you put one table behind it, and then you put another slide table on top of that, and baby, you got yourself a double length slide. And so we figured that out. There were like 7 of us, so we held the table, and it was pretty fun going down that double length slide. But we're a bunch of college boys, and there's so many tables. There's a super overabundance of tables in there. So we just kept going. We built this table slide bigger and bigger, and it really was fun. I think by the time we got to the third story one, instead of just having like 2 tables vertically stacked, we did like widen it out. So it was more structurally secure, and we always had guys holding the tables. But we kept going, dudes. So basically, I think we maybe got 5 or 6 levels stacked, which was a super long slide and it was super rickety. And by the time we'd gotten to those back legs, I think it was like 3 wide. And we literally went until we were at the ceiling. So all you Graceland heads, we made this massive, basically like totally jury rigged, totally dangerous. Like no one in charge would have let us do this if they were around. But we're just a bunch of silly boys doing a silly thing. And it was so amazing. One of my most cherished memories from Graceland for sure. And kind of a good estimation of just kind of the silly sober stuff we got up to, and that's really what college is all about. Just having those fun times and making cool connections. And one of my buddies, he's got the picture of the slides on some old phone somewhere. Hopefully we find it someday, but I just had been thinking about that, and it's like one of the coolest things I've ever done. And it was also kind of like against the rules, which is fun, especially since I was a leader later. But hope you Graceland heads enjoyed hearing that, and even the ones who aren't. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the memory. All right, bye.